The door right now, right?
Yeah, no, I was running a little bit late from the train, so I just literally ran in, started the computer, booted up.
The good old BART.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta go across the Bay Area, because you stay in Oakland, and you still work in San Francisco, so.
Yep.
Beautiful Bay Area. I remember I went there last year. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it out here a ton.
How's it going in Oakland? I mean, I know last time I went there, you were kind of worried because the San Francisco was seeping into the Oakland, and because of that, the prices and everything. So how's that going for you?
I mean, we're still in the same place, so it's really great. We love it, but no, the rent prices continue to rise.
Jeez.
But it's good place to be.
Well, do you think, because everything has a peak and a valley, do you think it's ever going to top off at all, or is it just,
Oh, man, I don't know enough about real estate to tell you, but it's nuts. I mean, there's got to be a ceiling, right? But who knows what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have great, there's like a lake right where you are that you go running at all the time, or?
Oh, yeah, it's gorgeous. It's really cool. It's like a 5K. I don't run as much as I would like, but I do rock climb quite a bit, so that's fun.
Where do you rock climb now?
Well, there's a few gyms in the area, but there's also outdoor climbing, just even in Berkeley, like bouldering. That's not the rope climbing. So I haven't done that in a while, but I pretty much just stick to the indoor climbing because of scheduling and everything.
Is there bouldering? What's bouldering?
So it's climbing without the rope. Usually it's a shorter distance up, so if you fall, it's not lethal.
Okay. So it's just like boldface, like a cliffhanger where your hands are all chalked up and you're hanging like Sylvester Stallone, just.
I mean, I hope I look that badass, right? But,
you look as badass as you want to in your mind. So yes, you do. And with that, I'd like to welcome everyone to the What If podcast. And I'd like to introduce everyone to my guest this week, the lovely Miss Ashley Paramore. Please say hello to the audience, Ashley.
Hello, audience. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So please, Ashley, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am a longtime internetter. I've been producing content online since about 2006, kind of starting with YouTube stuff, but nowadays I pretty much exclusively focus on live streaming. I have a show called it's twitch.tv/FateGamerGirl, where I stream cooking primarily. I've been on a cosplay kick right now because I'm prepping for Dragon Con, but yeah, I am your online cooker-upper, trying to teach people how to make vegetables not taste like dirt.
I know, why is that such a hard thing to do sometimes, though?
I think what it is, and full disclaimer, I'm vegan, so it's like vegan cooking, but, I think what it is people rely so heavily on, something else. And what I mean by that is, whether that's, sorry, I have screaming birds in the background here, whether that's free or meat or something, it can be really tough if you aren't experienced, or don't know a lot about the properties of food to make things, not taste like grass clippings or whatever. So I try and get around that on the stream. So that's really fun.
Can you give us a little secret of how not to do that?
I mean, if you think of the base properties of foods, or the three things, this is my big thing. Tell me what the three things are that make food taste delicious. If you had to guess, what would you say?
Fat, salt, and carbs.
Fat and salt are two of them.
Yes.
Sugar's the last one. Fat and sugar both, if you think of
evolutionarily speaking,
they're very high calorie foods, so we crave them.
Yes,
salt is required to live. I like to throw acid in there as an honorary fourth to kind of brighten foods. Like if you have calamari and people squeeze lime juice over it to help it. But salt, sugar, and fat. So if you're ever taste testing something you're cooking and something seems off, think if you're missing one of those three things.
Probably. So do you add, when it comes to vegan cooking, do you add more of it to make it taste more like, I wouldn't say palatable, because I guess it would taste good, but it doesn't taste like people would complain like, oh, this doesn't taste right or something like that. How would you make it, quote unquote, taste right?
I mean, that depends so much on the dish, right? And what you're cooking.
Because the other day I saw you making some pretzels, so...
Yeah, that was really fun. And that did have salt and sugar and fat in it. You know, I had oil mixed in with my liquid. Salt goes in basically everything, you know. And oil would be our fat, of course, and a little bit of sugar in with the yeast to help the yeast survive the warm water. But yeah, I would say it really depends. But I think people tend not to think about that as much, generally speaking, when they're kind of like cooking on the fly.
Yeah.
Because even if you look at something like bacon has salt, sugar, fat. There's not a whole lot more you have to do to that other than like fry it up, right?
Pretty much. It's the cornerstone of everything.
Yep, totally. Like, so sometimes it can take a little bit more work and just kind of learning a little bit more about the properties of food. And like carrots have a lot of sugar, for instance. Onions have a fair amount of sugar, you know. Kind of figuring out how to manipulate that to do what you want your food to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that does make sense. And honestly, with me, I am non-discriminatory when it comes to food. I will eat anything if it tastes good, kind of thing. And I've had some of your stuff, and it does, ladies and gentlemen, it does taste good. So it is possible to have vegan food and it actually tastes good. I know it's crazy, but it can work.
I'm glad you enjoyed.
I am. And the funny thing is, I know this is true, but every time I think of vegan, I think of that one Simpsons episode where Lisa was she was protesting, and there's this guy she liked, and the guy was like, I'm an 8th level vegan. I don't eat anything that casts a shadow.
Yeah, no, which is hilarious, really, because there are people like that out there. Though I'll tell you what, and you know, I don't want to hate on people too much here, but
oh, please do. No, this is free. You do whatever you want here. No, whatever.
I've been vegan about almost 5 years, almost the entire time I've been in California. I had kind of wavered the line for a really long time.
Okay.
And I'm not a preachy person. Like, for the most part, it's like, you know, I agree with the ethics of it, but, you know, everyone makes their own choices in life. I'm not going to, you know, shove the tofu down anyone's throat, so to speak. Mm-hmm. There are far more people that when, like, because if I'm out at a group outing and I got to order something, I'm always, like, the problem child because I gotta learn to order around the menu to get what I want. As soon as somebody finds out, like, and I mention, it's like, oh, no, thank you, I can't have that, I'm vegan, I get accused of being preachy, or like people jump down my throat. It's like, but I love bacon. Like it's some argument. Like I don't understand. It's like
I did tell you not to love bacon.
Like, no, bacon is great. Don't get me wrong, but like it's weird because I've had, you know, I do hear horror stories of vegans being assholes, and there's certainly vegans that are out there, but I've definitely been on the receiving end of like when I'm just trying to be chill and enjoy like my curry or whatever, when people just like want to go on the bacon train, you know. And by all means, go on the bacon train. But
so this begs the question: where you have to tell me what was your most ashholest vegan experience with someone? Because you're in San Francisco, you know, it's kind of, when it comes to stuff like that, it's not hard to find someone there.
Yeah, I would say it's probably, you know, God, how I'm trying to think of. I'm struggling at thinking like of a specific experience, but I've gone to vegetarian or like vegan food events, and there's always kind of the holier than thou people, right? Like pure enough. So to give you an example, and this is kind of getting into the weeds of stuff, you know, sugar often kind of my understanding of it is like kind of like bleached, so to speak, with bone char, right? So like. Yeah. A good amount of sugar, like sugar by itself, isn't vegan. And like my philosophy in it is like, you know, it's not about being perfect, it's about being the best that you can. Mm-hmm. There are like vegans that'll get whiny if like the sugar is not exactly, you know, the beet sugar, which does not use bone char, or, you know, I feel like this gets me in trouble with the vegans. Like, I am a person that doesn't care if my carrots are GMO or not. Mm-hmm. So people that will jump down my throat if I wind up buying something that's a conventional product, or, you know, so on. Some vegans get really up in arms about people having pets.
Really?
It depends. Yeah. So because of the, like, all animals should be free kind of thing.
Okay.
I might agree with that to a certain degree. You know, that's not necessarily the reality that we live in when you have animals that are abandoned and abused. You know, so I wish I could think of a specific experience, but a lot of it's just kind of the like I'm not, vegans getting mad at other vegans for not being vegan enough. That sort of thing.
I always wonder why that always happens in like all types of subcultures. Because even you've experienced of like vegans not being vegan enough. I've experienced the point where like, oh, you're not black enough, or you're not a hardcore fan enough, or stuff like that. And I'm always thinking like, why do you care so much?
Yeah, that's like my handle's Fake Gamer Girl on Twitch.
Yeah.
And the reason I have Fake Gamer Girl is because girls don't play video games. You're not a real gamer because you don't play blank. Like, yeah, you have that in every subculture under the sun. You're always going to have that. Can't we all just get along though? Like, can't we?
Right? Can we just play games and just have fun and eat cool tasting vegan stuff? Why not? Why not? I mean, come on.
Have my tofu steak and you can have your steak and let's like go high five and
play some Overwatch. It's cool. It's great.
Yeah.
Speaking of Overwatch, you said Dragon Con. So Dragon Con is coming up, is it?
Yes, it's like so it's Labor Day weekend in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, yes.
Convention, hands down. It's I like to call it cosplay Christmas because it's a very, literally everyone's in cosplay there. Whether it's some cheapo costume that they bought on Amazon or something that people have poured their lives into, and it's very communal. It's more of a party, less of a kind of industry convention where you have all the alcohol. Like people are getting drunk in the hotels till 5 a.m. in costumes.
Yeah, the industry one is San Diego. This one's the down home.
It's super fun. Have you been?
San Diego? No, I've only been to one Comic-Con in my entire life. It was here in Houston a few years ago during like Memorial Day weekend, and I learned a valuable lesson that weekend. First, I learned somehow to buy your tickets in advance because we got there by like 8 and we didn't actually get into the hall by 11 because we waited in line for like 3 hours to get in.
That's brutal.
And then once we got in and realized, another quick tip. If you can, bring your own little chair or seat because you're going to be standing for the next 8 hours. Because it's just flat walls and nothing to sit on.
They let you bring in your own chairs?
No, they don't, but you better find a way to sneak one in because it's rough. Because, man, I remember my feet were just as big as pancakes, even bigger than they are with my size 16 feet after that Comic-Con. It was rough, man.
I was going to say, I have friends that are like professional cosplayers where they'll, work conventions, but also like part of their job is like just getting their brand out there, being on the floor and getting their picture taken and handing out cards and everything else.
Yeah.
And some of the conventions now are getting more and more strict about the kinds of props that you can have.
Really?
So I was going to say is like if somebody cannot bring some staff that's, based off of something PVC, there's no way in hell you're going to be able to bring a chair into somebody's place.
No, you can't bring a chair, but it's like, sometimes you see like these survival kits where it's like 2 prongs and a sheet of cloth can be like a little chair. Like maybe you can hide that in the back of your pocket or something. I don't know, man.
Who knows, man? I feel like I see like some of those like Instagram advertisements too that are like these pieces of fabric that you just fill with air real quick and turn.
Oh yeah, those ones you swing back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get one of those because you can just throw that in a backpack.
Man, you know what? That's not a bad idea. That is, boom. This is what we're gonna do. All right, this is what we're gonna do. You're actually going to Dragon Con, so you can't do this. But what I should do is Labor Day weekend, even though I can't. But Labor Day weekend, I should go to Atlanta. Literally set up a stand right across the street selling those bags, and I can just be like, "Hey, you guys are going to be standing for like 8 to 10 hours. It'd be nice to sit, wouldn't it? $30.
Yep. Man, you should get out to Dragon Con sometime though. It's definitely a really fun one.
How long is it?
So it's like it runs from Thursday to Tuesday that weekend.
Okay.
Or Thursday to Monday. It's pretty long. But you have everything. Like Justin's my husband, Justin Robert Young. He does the podcast track there every year.
Okay.
And so we're spending most of the time in like the one hotel because there's not a convention center. It's all in hotels, which is why people are partying till 5 a.m.
Like the hotel lobby downstairs thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like over the span of like 5 primary hotels, and then there's just stuff going on too. But we do the podcast track. There's a science track that I like. There's a gaming track that I've never been to. I've been trying to get to, but it just doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
There's cosplay tracks. There's a paranormal track.
Paranormal? What?
There was one, a few years ago, there was we were getting ready to move into the room that one of the podcasts were happening in, and there was a wrap-up of like this Klingon beauty pageant tutorial that I will remember forever.
How does that work?
Well, because they were doing Klingon makeup, like showing how to do it. So,
I thought it was like, bathing suits, evening gown with Klingons. I was like, oh, wait, what?
It wasn't that far off because there were people dressed up as Klingons, but others that were there to, like, learn how to do it, and they had sashes on. So it just blew my mind. And then there's another thing that I know happens after I think it's happened the last couple of years after Night Attack. That's I don't know what track it's on, but it's like a BDSM track.
Wait,
like
what?
Yeah, it's some sex-related thing. That's all I know. But they always get grouchy when the podcast is late. So we kind of, have to shuffle on out of there. But there's everything. There's something for everyone there. So if you ever get the chance, man, you got to come and hit me up, and we will get super lit.
Wow. Yeah, it's because I have a friend in Atlanta, Marcus. Marcus, he every time Dragon Con comes along, you see a smile from ear to ear on his face, and he loves it. And because he lives in Atlanta, and he goes there all the time. And I'm guessing it might be getting bigger because you know how Atlanta's turning into like the new Hollywood, and basically everyone's filming and productions down there. I'm thinking it might be more of a thing. The Walking Dead's already down there. A lot of other productions do stuff down there. So, have you seen anything from any other production companies whenever you go there?
To be honest, I really can't speak to that. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty going on. Most of what I go there for now is the community because the entire convention's run by fans.
Okay.
Well, it's fan. I shouldn't say it's run by fans. Like it's owned by people, but it's run by volunteers.
So it's not run by Comicpalooza because I think they're the ones that run most of the other ones.
Oh no, it's its whole own independent thing.
Okay.
But yeah, they have a ton of volunteers that like chip in and everything. But I'm just there. I'm there for the community. I'm there to hang out with my friends in costume, go to maybe a couple of podcast things, and drink. To be blunt, so. But yeah, no, I'm sure that's going on, but I don't know enough to like really speak on it.
So what are you going as, or is that surprise for everyone else on your Twitch stream and Snapchat?
It's not a surprise. I have been streaming it. So. God, I hope I get it done in time. This is crunch time. As soon as we're done recording this, I'm going to be working on it. Did you see the new Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes.
So I'm dressing up as the Gold Lady, Aesa.
Oh, yes.
There's so much detail in that costume. I'm so scared I'm not going to get it done. But
wow.
Yeah, I'm working on the kind of like top half of the dress right now, and I'm ready to be done with it forever. But if it turns out I'm going to look great, I don't know how long it's going to take to paint my body gold.
Yeah,
but
the gold body paint. Now, hopefully it won't be one of those instances where it's like, was it Goldfinger with James Bond? Where the chick, she was painting gold and all of a sudden, like, she almost died or something like that, right?
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to die.
Oh, no, I hope not.
I mean, I bought gold body paint from a very, like, reputable, place, so...
Okay.
I haven't tested it out yet, so I'm not sure exactly what shade of gold it is, but it doesn't matter. It's the shade of gold we're using.
Shade of gold. I think they'll get it across, unless you're going to have that one guy like, well, actually, in the movie, she was the amber gold, you're more of a pyrite gold. Like, then you hit that guy with your staff.
God damn it. But yeah, so no, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm making progress. I just can't work fast enough. But
yeah. How many years in a row have you gone to Dragon Con, though?
I'm not exactly sure, but I'm somewhere between 9 and 10. Like, I've been a while. Yeah.
Wow, that is, man, that's dedication. I mean, kudos to you. You Ashley, I tip my proverbial hat to you. 9 years in a row. Man. So do you guys stay at a hotel there, or do you have like or another Airbnb or something like that? Do you stay with somebody, or? Yeah,
so hotels are really, really competitive. You have almost a year in advance, and they go in less than 5 minutes. So we missed out on all of the main hotels that are booking. However, like around the corner, there's a Ritz-Carlton, and you would think like, wow, that's got to be super expensive. Au contraire, the convention rates of the hotel, like all the normal hotels, The Ritz is only $5 more, and they don't publicly announce when they're opening rooms. So we got really lucky and was able to get like their convention kind of rate.
Wow.
And it's quiet, so we don't have all shenanigans at 5 a.m. keeping us up.
Of course, because booze plus geeks plus costume equals party.
Oh my god, yeah. So much party.
So you go to Dragon Con. Do you go to any other conventions? Like here in San Francisco, do you ever go to E3 maybe in June? Because I know you game a lot. Or have you ever even taken a whiff of San Diego Comic-Con?
You know, I haven't tried to go to San Diego Comic-Con yet. If work sends me, maybe I'll go someday. But I really don't want to have to fight, to get the tickets and a place to stay. It's madness, right?
It is.
I feel like I'm doing less conventions now than I used to. Like I've done C2E2 in Chicago. I've done Emerald City Comic Con. I do Nerdtacular, which is kind of like a podcast con in Salt Lake City. I've done that. I often what I'll do is I'll go to cons, but not really go to cons because I'm there to hang out with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, South by Southwest. I've been going to South by Southwest for years, and by that I mean hanging out on 6th Street. So
who doesn't?
That sort of thing. I was too late to get tickets to BlizzCon. I've been wanting to do that for a while, but I think I might just go fly down there and hang out with my friends at the bar.
And find your way around. I mean,
yeah, I do love traveling to Conso because it's such a great group of people. I love the culture. It's just hanging out with a bunch of other geeks and nerding out over whatever fandom is the fandom du jour, be that Game of Thrones or, whatever's hot right now,
Speaking of what's hot right now, have you been watching Game of Thrones? Are you keeping up, or?
Oh my god, yes.
Before you say anything, my Game of Thrones watching buddy was busy this weekend, so I didn't get to watch it with him. So I might be a week behind. So I'm only 2 episodes in, not 3. I'm only 2. So I haven't seen the big meeting between Jon Snow and Daenerys yet.
Spoilers, guys.
They know how we roll on the What If podcast. We go into some stuff, and not to mention I put the timestamps on everything. So if we talk about spoilers, we talk about spoilers. I saw one of the most hilarious memes the other day. It was like 2 Starbucks cups, right? And one said Jon Snow, and the other one said Daenerys, Queen of the Dragons. It was like the whole cup was written with words.
Yep. Basically.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. This isn't spoilery, but it is Game of Thrones related. Who do you think kills Cersei? Because I'm sure she's got to die.
Okay. People have written theses, I guess, about this. Now,
I have a guess, but I want to hear from you first.
George R.R. Martin, okay, the show is ahead of the books. He's still writing the books. This is completely diverged from the books, so it's not going to be the same thing. But I feel that if it's Game of Thrones and it seems like in this world in Westeros you're rewarded for being evil, it would be a total George R.R. Martin move to have Cersei live till the end. She outlives everyone. But if she has to die, I'm guessing it would have to be something that's both satisfying and you deserve this bitch kind of thing. So maybe would it be Jaime? Because you could clearly see at the end of last season when she was being crowned the queen, you could see Jaime's eyes oh shit kind of thing. But at the same time, that's his sister/lover, so he can't be completely shun her. In the beginning of this season, he's even saying we should do better. We don't have to do this. We shouldn't fight this war. This isn't a good war. And she's like, no, we're doing this. They've taken everything away from me. I'm doing this. So it's kind of Jaime's trying. He's trying.
Well, Cersei's interesting because she has lost everything that is meaningful to her except for her brother, right? Mm-hmm. /lover. But I do think that you're right. I very much think that if anyone's going to kill her, it's got to be Jaime, and I don't think it's going to be honorable. People already don't like him because he's the
Kingslayer,
right?
Yeah.
I'm sure more people would be happy if he did it, but still, I don't think it'll be anything that redeems him in any way. I don't feel like he'll become a hero.
No, he'll. it'll be a tragic means. So he won't become a hero to the people, but like amongst people that are there, they're going to be like, you know what, Jaime had his bad moments, but in the end, because I honestly think it's going to be a point where he kills Cersei and he dies in the process. I think there might be some type all out war. Someone might, charge the throne room or something like that, and he might be like holding Cersei like to protect her, and in the thralls he'll take like a dagger and just shiv her and be like, oh, Jaime, how could you, kind of thing. Probably.
Will they go Romeo Juliet?
Ooh. Wow, man, you're asking some tough questions. You should be a reporter on
her, but doesn't want to live through it. That sort of thing.
His kids are gone. I mean, the Lannister house is just in shambles now. So he and even if he does kill Cersei, no one's going to accept him. They're always going to look at him side-eyed. He's never going to be accepted. So yeah, they might just Romeo and Juliet them. It might just Romeo and Juliet kind of thing.
Yeah. And the only other question I have for you about this, and this definitely is spoilers for people that haven't read the books or have not gotten far enough in the series. So we all know how much George R.R. Martin loves incest. Do Jon Snow and Daenerys hook up?
Okay, here's my question with that. I was asking my friend when we were watching this, are they cousins or half brother and sister?
Oh my God, someone's gonna angrily correct you later, or me. But so Jon,
yes, was
Ned's sister's
son. Yes, so he's a Stark. He's half Stark. Yes.
The Targaryen, which was Daenerys' father, so they're cousins.
So wait, so the Mad King slept with Ned's sister?
Wait, so they're related. They're like siblings, I think.
So they're half brother and sister.
They're half brother and sister, and because he has a penis, he has the right to the throne, technically.
So, okay, so maybe because it's been 7 seasons and it comes every year and I watch dozens of other shows between Game of Thrones. So I know we found out that Ned's sister was Jon's mother and the Mad King was the father through Bran's flashbacks when he was walking, all right? So we found that out. We also realized that Bran now has the ability to affect the past, which gave us one of the most tearful scenes ever in TV history, honestly. Because, I mean, that is...
Take a moment of silence to pay respects for Hodor.
Oh, God, I don't cry in movies. I don't cry in TV shows. That was a rough moment, Ashley. That was a rough moment.
Because he's so pure!
Not just that. Everybody has a job in this world, right? And Hodor had that one job, and God damn it, if he didn't do that job, he did it. He did his job. His job was to hold that door. And he did it. He did it. Now... Did you
buy one of the Hodor doorstops immediately afterwards that people were selling?
I didn't. I was kind of in a dark place after that, because I was just kind of like, but... It was, just Hodor, man. Just that Hodor was a G. Just that guy, I could go to war with Hodor. I really could. Just stuff like that. I mean, and there's that. Here's a question. Do you feel Arya's going to make it?
That's an excellent question. So I could see her getting killed off. Mm-hmm. Because she's not super, as things stand and what we know about the world, like, she's not super pivotal to the storyline, right? Unless there's something that she's doing, now that she's kind of like out of the House of Black and White, and I'm still a little confused on her storyline of whether or not she clearly has some of the magic from that house. I don't know how permanent that is, and because she, a girl has no name but J.K. Law, no, she doesn't, it's Arya Stark, and, murder fest. But she clearly still has those powers. Does the House of Black and White come after her for those, or is, I forget the guy?
I think
name. Does he have
a good question? I think she earned her freedom because she had that one chick chase her. She killed that one chick, took her face, and then she went to the dude and said, like, listen, I'm Arya Stark, I'm gonna do my own thing. And the guy was all like, all right, you just go on, you can leave. I think she earned her freedom. Now, what she does with said freedom, she could go down her list. She's already checked off some names. Speaking of, one of the best openings ever to start a season with Walter Frey. You know.
Nope.
So, I feel that, will it become a point where all hate, like, consumes her? And to the point where she'll try to go down her list, and in the process of going down her list, she gets killed in the process, and in that moment that she's getting killed, will it be, oh, this was for nothing, all I'm full of is hate and vengeance, but it means nothing in the end kind of thing? Or maybe she gets down her list, realizes Cersei's done, and then realizes, what have I done with my life?
Yeah.
Now that everyone's dead, now what? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure what's going to become of her. I can see her dying. I don't know that they will kill her though. Because I don't know. Who knows? I don't trust George R. R. Martin. So like maybe she does die.
Maybe she does.
I'll be really sad if Tyrion dies because I really like him.
I don't think he dies because I feel someone has to inherit the House of Lannister, and I think he's going to be the one.
Yeah.
I think he's like all the other Lannisters. They've hated him. You know, Tywin hated him because he killed his wife. His brothers and sisters don't like him because he's a dwarf. All these other things. And I feel, because remember how Jon, when he won the North, and then he took those two kids, those two houses he defeated. I think it was Tully or whatever, the two houses, and then Sansa, who's completely gone bitch mode, but for good reason. Sansa's all like, no, Jon, you have to punish them. You have to take away their houses. Da-da-da-da-da. He's like, no, it's not their fault that their dads are dicks. I'm going to give them their houses, and hopefully, with my mercy, they will follow me, type of thing. And I feel once Daenerys and Jon get together, that mentality will spread. Like, yeah, the Lannisters have fucked over Westeros, but with Tyrion, who has clearly proven himself again and again, we will let him have Casterly Rock and hopefully make the House of Lannister something other people can be proud of, type of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because they are the last of the Lannisters, right?
You've got the three of them. Unless you have all the crazy, like the Seep cousin who got blown up in that big explosion, you know. So
yeah, man.
So who knows, man? And then we're gonna have to wait like 2 years to see the very end of this. I don't, man. We could thank Harry Potter for that one. So,
good God, I'll tell you what though. Like Game of Thrones, it has been an awesome ride of a show, and they've just had such an amazing cast of actors too. Like, yeah. I've been like super impressed, and like even like Lady Olenna, like from the God, why am I forgetting what house?
From Tyrell.
Tyrell, thank you. I love her.
She's the sassiest grandmas ever.
I want her to be my grandma.
She is awesome. I love her. I love Lady Mormont. I will follow her to hell and back. Lady Mormont. That's
the little girl, right?
Yeah. Oh, just.
Dude, I will not get tired of her shaming old men. She's just they have, and that's the other thing too. Like, they've had great child actors.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, normally kids suck. I'm sorry.
No, they do. They can really bring a show or a movie down. They can.
They've really done well on that. So GG, Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And then of course HBO will have the transition of Game of Thrones to Westworld, which that's just that's another, enigma wrapped in a riddle itself kind of thing.
Totally. And you know what? That's actually one I haven't watched much of. I've caught bits and pieces of it. Like, I just need to sit down and churn through that someday.
The funny thing is that, like, we're like, me and my friend, we watched Game of Thrones too. We were watching one. Like, all right, let's watch Westworld. We saw the first episode. Tell me why we literally had, afterwards, a full hour conversation about what is life and what is real. Just from the first episode. We sat there like, it's midnight, and we finished watching 11. I guess we're watching the show. It's like, yeah, we're watching this show.
You go. Just keep on churning.
Yeah, it's just so good. You know, you have stuff like Game of Thrones, you have Westworld. If you know that stuff was real, because in our plane of existence, it's not. But what if there was a plane of existence where you could have autonomous robots or dragons that are still real? Which that's why I brought you on this week, Ashley, is to have this week our what if scenario. I was thinking to myself, you know, we're in a golden age of television. Movies are hit or miss, but golden age of television, especially genre television. And a lot of the themes in these genre televisions are alternate timelines, alternate universes, like Man in the High Castle, Flash, where there's infinite Earths, there's Earth 2 and Supergirl's World and things like that. Which, when going through all of these, I thought to myself, Ashley, what if... we discovered there are actually parallel worlds or universes in our existence? How do we approach it? What would we do? Would it be good? Would it be bad? Would they implode on themselves? What do you think? How would we approach this?
I don't know about the imploding on itself, but I feel like it's one of those things that you would have. It would almost like you have different groups of people to where it would almost be religion level, where you have the folks, or actually, religion. Maybe that's not quite the right thing to say. Let's look at aliens, for instance. The idea of aliens, and look at things like, I don't know if you're familiar with like SETI, search for extraterrestrial intelligence. I think that's what.
Yeah.
There are different folks that have varying opinions on like the what if we find aliens kind of thing. You know, you have the people that are like, well, we clearly, we want to get in touch. Like call them up, say, hey, how's it going? Like, that's such an awesome, amazing discovery. If we were to find intelligent life, let's see how we could work together because we're all intelligent, yo. Then the other people that are like, no, we cannot do that because it'll be a murder fest and they'll kill us all. So like I can see that kind of scenario playing out with the parallel universe idea, right? Where you're going to have the people that are like, we need to explore this and learn as much about it as we can. Ooh, sorry about that, birds. And then you're going to have the people that are like, we need to, they're parallel, let's keep them parallel. Don't cross the streams. Like, otherwise we could all be in grave danger. I know for me, it's like, if we're not the ones that are going to go and explore that and check it out, somebody else is. And eventually, if there is a hostile parallel universe, man, we'll rip the dream, right? Like it's be inevitable if there are parallel universes that are, evil. Like, let's do what we can to learn. Let's do what we can to learn and protect ourselves and our world, and maybe go next door to the parallel universe amazing vacation resort place. Like I'm that.
It's and you're right, and I come to think of certain things because I know Stephen Hawking said this, not with parallel universes, but he did say it with extraterrestrials. He said, a lot of people think that if we were to find extraterrestrials, it would be cool, we'd make contact, we'd talk with them. But he brought up a very valid point, and the point was, if aliens were ever to come to our planet, when has a more technologically advanced species met a less technologically advanced species, and it's ended well?
Oh, totally. And I think actually, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson talked about this a little bit too.
Speaking of, what the fuck is season 2 of Cosmos? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Right? Oh my god, I love him, man. He is a god of his own. So I think even he's like talked about where if we had extraterrestrial life, like they might have come and gone already. They might have seen us like in the existing state that we are now and look at us like we might look at primates, which
like,
are
nah, brah, you're
like
not ready yet.
Like bonobos are incredibly intelligent, but they might view us like in the same way where we're just little babies. We're not quite there yet.
Is it kind of like Star Trek where they're like the Vulcan sauce, like we're not going to talk to them until they discover the warp drive, and then we'll talk, and we discover the warp drive, like, hey, buddy.
Exactly. And that's assuming that they're the good guys, right? And not
that's true.
Did you see? And I'm sorry, we're getting on the alien tangent a little bit here. Did you see Arrival?
Yes, I did.
So same sort of scenario, like, where they, spoilers, where they kind of come down, like it's the whole language thing, but they also come to help, like the idea of this language that's going to help the human race so much, sort of thing. Those are the friendly ones. Those aren't the ones that are coming to harvest our planet.
True.
So who knows? I think parallel universes could be fascinating, but isn't there actually, and maybe you've done the research on this, isn't there, and who knows how well founded this is science-wise, or like some hypothesis that there are parallel universes?
Well, I mean, there could be. I mean, just when it comes to theoretical physics or stuff like that, I mean, anything is possible. Shit, 100 years ago, we would have thought like, oh, that big bright thing in the sky at night, there's no way in hell we could ever go there, and lo and behold, 40 years later we did, or something like that, So what we always think is impossible could be possible, could be probable. So I'm not going to say no. Now, can we do it now? I don't think we can do it now, but that doesn't mean we can't do it in the future. Maybe, I don't know if it's going to be in our lifetimes, but just never say never. Honestly, at this point, we go to the tangent of the aliens. Did you ever see the miniseries on National Geographic Mars?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, that got me so excited and so upset at the same time. Because I'm sitting here thinking to ourselves, like, man, it is 2017 and we haven't gotten past our moon. Like, for real? It's like we're like galactic hermits.
Yeah,
like,
well, you gotta understand, like, how hard it is to get that far out too, because we're relying on, we could get in the big space conversation here, but we are relying largely on fossil fuels to get us out to the moon, right? We need to find ways, like, if we want to go far, we need to find ways that we can travel further with renewable resources or harvesting the energy of stars, right?
Something like that, yeah. And it's funny because like we were doing stuff and we were going to the moon, and there was like we were planning on missions to go to Mars, and all of a sudden Nixon came and said like, this space stuff isn't sexy anymore. It looks expensive. Let's stop it. And they stopped it until like recently. It wasn't until recently that they were like, we could either A, keep going to the moon and try to go farther, or B, we can make the space shuttle and just go into orbit and come back. And he picked B. Well,
so now it's like, we need a new space race, right? Like of the millionaires and billionaires. We got Elon Musk and our Jeff Bezos, like just going with their rockets, like racing to Mars or wherever. But I think that's supposed to be in NASA's plan now to try and do Mars. I think that's part of it.
Well, if they can get the funding for it, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they'll start a Kickstarter or something.
Kickstart Mars. But so that kind of brings me around. So what have been some of your in media, pop culture, whether it be books, TV, movies? What have been some of your favorite or most interesting parallel universes or other worlds that you've seen or read?
I would like to. Oh, that's tough, man. Because there are things that I would like, or that I think are really cool because I like the shows, but like Game of Thrones universe, that is murder. Like, you don't live in that universe.
Yeah, like, you know why? You may live in the universe. I don't. How many black people have you seen on that show? Like 3?
I mean, as long as you're with the breaker of chains, you're okay, apparently. Surprise.
I have to come across the narrow sea. What am I going to have to, like, I'm thinking they're farther off than the Dothrakis, because I think you have to go farther east just to find any people of color.
Yeah, somebody's got a map.
Yeah, probably.
I do like my space sagas a lot, though. Like, I really enjoyed Battlestar Galactica. The newer one. I haven't seen the old one.
Yeah.
I think that's cool because they're doing that massive space travel, right? That sort of thing. And the idea that AI is all kind of caught up to us.
Man, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know, man. Just with the AI, because did you see recently the news where like there's a company in Minnesota that's microchipping their employees?
I did not hear about that.
Yeah, it's.
So Are you sure? Did you Snopes this? This seems
No. This is before you could say this is CNN, so it's verified. But no, trust me, all like the news outlets, like this is a real thing. Like they're microchipping. I guess the employees voluntarily microchip themselves, and it's like, oh, you can use it to log onto your computer and unlock this and do that. And I'm like, nah, brah, no.
All right, that seems a little crazy. All right, so Chicago Tribune. Oh my God, sorry for my birds. Wisconsin company holds chip party to microchip workers.
See?
What the shit? Can I say shit? Oh my God.
No, this is internet. You say whatever you want. Fuck. Shit, damn.
Oh my goodness.
So,
it wasn't bad, says Timmons.
Would you do that?
I mean, oh my God, the first thing that I think of, like, looking at this as somebody that went to Catholic school, I'm like, that's the mark of the beast.
I also went to a Catholic boarding school, and I kind of thought that myself, too. I was kind of like,
God. So, I just want to, so it is like logging into computers, break room snacks. That's,
yeah.
I gotta say, all right, so maybe I wouldn't do this for work. I would like to become some kind of cyborg, though. So, like,
so
if
I go like full Ghost in the Shell kind of thing, or what?
Be like, hey, no, I'll use my Apple Pay in my wrist, or, I wanna be able to, like, use Jedi magic to open grocery door kind of things. You know when you walk in and you pretend you're a Jedi, or when the elevator door opens. And that,
Isn't Amazon already kind of doing that? Like, in Seattle, they have like those Amazon stores where you go in and then like you scan your phone and you get what you need and you just walk out. And I think the store knows what you took and they charge you.
I know they've talked about that. I don't know if they're open yet, but I know what you're talking about. Like, but I would totally get microchipped to like use my household devices and stuff like that. I don't think I would do it for an employer, but if the employer was like, hey, yeah, you can just use your microchip to get into like the doors. We just got to register your microchip or whatever. Then I'd be like, oh, okay. But like, I wouldn't do it for work.
And if you get fired, they're like, hey, we need to take that microchip out, and will they make it excruciatingly painful because you got fired? Or, I mean, I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, that's the thing, too, right? Like, I'm sure they deactivate your chip, but I think, like, if I could use it to pay for things at the grocery store, to use my household devices, stuff like that, like, I would consider getting one. Because I like my tech. I would be an early adopter. Man,
I don't know, man. I'll be that old guy with grandkids, be like, hey, Grandpa, why don't you just, get the HoloLens upgrade and get the contacts? Like, nah, you better call me on my smartphone. And by that time, it's ancient technology,
Oh, right? How do you deal with, like, fraud? Because, they're already...
Exactly!
That kind of stuff already. Like what is the RFID? Is that what it is that you can steal stuff from?
Oh, yeah, like the scan. That's why all these credit cards are getting chips now, because it's harder to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you know what? It's an arms race. Anytime a new technology is made, there will be people trying to, take advantage of technology, and this will be one of them, the microchips. Is it kind of like, the urban myth where, like, you go out one night and, like, you meet this hot chick and you have drinks, all of a sudden you wake up in a tub and your kidneys are missing? Is it going to be you're going to wake up and your arm is missing because you took your chip?
That's a really good point. I mean, as long as it's my left arm, because that's the weaker one. I still need my right arm.
I like both my arms. I'm just, for symmetry reasons, I like both my arms.
You needy.
I like both my arms. Well, if I were to do a parallel world, I don't know, like a parallel world, I would think it would be interesting. Because if there was a parallel universe, I'd like to be interesting. Because I read a book called Past Watch. It was, I believe, a Orson Scott Card book. It was basically that in the future, these future scientists, I think it was like the world was about to end or something like that, and they found out a pivotal moment in history so the world wouldn't end would be when Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas. So what they did is that they dressed themselves as natives, because by this time in the future, like, everyone was brown. So they dressed themselves as natives, went back to the past, and taught the people of the Americas, like, technology. So they themselves would sail to Europe and show Europe, like, hey, we're not dumb savages like you think we are. We traveled across the ocean before you did, so booyaka kind of thing. So I think I'd like to see a world where, like, the world doesn't have a European influence. Let's say it would have an influence of the Americas, or maybe an influence of Africa, kind of thing. I did a podcast. One of my first podcasts was, what if Europeans didn't colonize Africa? What if, because Musa Masa, he's one of the richest men ever, to the point where he caused, like, inflation in Egypt because he just kept giving away so much gold to the people in Egypt. What if he traveled across Africa and he stopped in East Africa and just stopped? What if he kept going to Europe and just kept, going, and the Europeans said, oh man, this is due, let's not mess with Africa? How different will the world be? Clearly there'd probably be an alternate universe where, people of color would be, quote unquote, on the top kind of thing. Would we fall into the same traps? Probably. Would there be racism against white people and all this other stuff and all,
That is the only legitimate case of reverse racism.
Exactly. So that'd be weird. It'd be stuff like Man in the High Castle. Like, what if the Nazis did win World War II and stuff like that? And I'm watching the show Man in the High Castle, and of course, anytime I see these alternate timelines, I'm thinking to myself, the first thing I think is, man, we're all the people of color. Oh, there's a bunch of white folks here, and I wonder where they are.
Oh my goodness, that would be like, I would love to kind of see like how that would play out in alternate universes, right?
Yeah.
Though now think about it more, like outside of the Battlestar Galactica, kind of, having that kind of advanced space technology, because we're talking so much about space travel, right?
Yeah.
Give me my Doctor Who universe.
Oh, man.
I love my little blue box. And I know the universe is a dangerous place, but to be able to go forward and backward in time and, like, see dinosaurs and
forward,
shit.
Backward and anywhere in time. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Which is a great segue. Speaking of, all right, I haven't seen last season of Doctor Who, so no spoilers. But, of course, because you can't hide from it, we have a new Doctor. I believe she is the, 11th or 12th Doctor? Not sure. But we have a new Doctor. We have a female Doctor. Now, first, what was your initial reaction? And second, how do you feel about the reaction of others to the new Doctor?
So, I mean, I was excited about it. I will say I was more excited for Moffat to leave because I feel like he's been very copy-paste.
Yeah. When they said he was leaving like a few years ago, I was like, good, we need some new blood here.
Big time. So I'm very excited. I'm more excited for the new showrunner, I will say, like, I'm excited that they're doing it. Like, it fits with the lore just fine. We had the Master becoming Missy.
Yeah.
Right? And even in, like, earlier days lore, prior to, like, the Eccleston Doctor, there has been talk of, like, the Doctor being female in the past. So this isn't a new idea in the lore. This isn't, like, a new thing that just happened.
Yeah.
It's the first time we've gotten a woman out of it. I think it's cool. I actually haven't seen anything that she's worked in, which I'm kind of glad, because I think I don't want to come in with like judgment for like liking her a ton or not liking her in something.
Oh, don't worry, there will be many that will. So
yeah, I wonder. What I'm really curious to see how it plans out, because with the exception of this season, which you said you haven't seen yet. I have
not seen yet. No.
This isn't spoilery, super spoiler per se, but the Doctor's companions have tended to be, in one way or the other, at some point, a love interest, or like loves the Doctor sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, when this new Doctor gets her companion or companions, whoever they are they going to play that up? Because this probably isn't super spoilery. Sorry if it is, but the companion this season, Bill, she's gay.
Okay.
Like, so, there's no love interest there. And so it was really cool to kind of, like, see this season where, like, that wasn't played up with the Doctor, And I think that, like, she was a great companion. So I'm wondering, like, if they're going to do that, and how that will play out. So I'm excited. Long story short, I want to see what they do with her, and I can't wait for it. Can't wait to see the producer.
I always found it interesting whenever watching Doctor Who, because, of course, anytime watching anything when it came to time travel, I was like, well, clearly I can't go anywhere past the 60s. It would just be awful. If I go anywhere past the 60s, like, I just can't. Like, there's times where he went back in time with Martha, and she was a doctor, but he had to be like, oh no, she's my assistant or whatever, when she was actually the doctor who knew medical knowledge and things like that. And you know, it's always interesting with that. And of course, when I found out about the new doctor, my next question was, I'm glad it's a female doctor. This is great. You guys know what the next step is. We have to have a non-white doctor.
Yep, like,
you know, we just have to, kind of thing. And it's slowly but surely happening. And you know, hopefully it will happen sooner than later. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes with that. So,
and I agree. They've already introduced that with some of the transitions, the regenerations of the Time Lords.
Mm-hmm.
You did that with River, right?
Yeah.
So she was when they were in the Hitler episode,
mm-hmm.
like made her a black woman very
mm-hmm.
briefly.
Yeah.
There was one of I always forget the name of the council of the Time Lords, whatever they're named.
Yeah.
There was them that regenerated because they got shot or something, and that was also a black woman, I think.
Okay.
So, you know, it's certainly possible, just even based on the lore that we kind of have built up in the recent seasons.
Yes.
So yeah,
it's a sci-fi show. Do you really have to, like, there's lore? No, you know damn well you can make some stuff up and it will totally flow.
And I'll tell you what, that's the thing too. Like the complaint that I've heard is like, oh, what are we going to do now? Make James Bond a woman? I'm like, well, that would be awesome, but also like that's not in the lore.
That's not really in the lore. They even played with James Bond, like, because I thought this would be cool that James Bond was like a code name, but in Skyfall they kind of made it no, Bond is a family name. So I was like, oh, okay, kind of thing. So you could actually switch James Bonds and it wouldn't be weird. But like, oh no, when you become like 007. Like this top agent, your name is now James Bond, and your entire past is like retcon kind of thing. That would have been cool, but
I think you're 100% right. Like in like that they need to and they should do it at some point. You know, even if they didn't have a woman in this time, and I kind of wonder. I hate to say it, but I kind of wonder if it's like, well, let's see if we can test the waters with a woman. You know. I hate to say it, but part of me wonders is like, is this kind of like their test case to seeing if they can actually step away from that? You know what I mean?
They've kind of been clamoring for this for a while. In fact, before they got Peter Capaldi, they were thinking this might be the time when they get a woman, and they got Peter Capaldi. So they're kind of like, okay, you know. So they've been wanting this for a while. So
yeah, I mean, Moffat wasn't one that wanted it though. He was one of the ones on the woman's side that kind of stayed like, no, the Doctor's a man, and then the new showrunner brought in the woman.
Do you know who the new showrunner is?
I forget his name, to be honest. I'll see if I can pull it, but yeah, it is about time, and I think it'll be really cool when it happens. Because at this point, I don't think it's if, I think it's when. Like, yeah, sure. I think overall, in spite of all the trolls, this transition has been received very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I think it'll happen. So fingers crossed. And if it doesn't happen, I will be very disappointed. Very disappointed in it.
Well, I think Doctor Who and the BBC, they usually, on the most part, they know what to do, and they usually do the right thing. So, any closing thoughts on parallel universes or space or Doctor Who or anything like that, Ashley?
You know, I just hope that if there are parallel universes, and we get to go to one in our lifetime,
like find just a Stargate. There's a Stargate, and we step through it. Yes,
that there's a Stargate that like it won't murder us all out the gate, and also that I can have magic, and that maybe a nice vacation home in a lovely parallel universe. So.
Well, maybe you might go to a universe where our science is so, far advanced that to them it is magic, so technically you would have magic? I don't know.
I mean, I'll take it. I'll take science magic. Give it to me. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, with that, Ashley, how can the people on this wonderful podcast get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can hit me up on Twitter. I'm Healthy Addict on Twitter. Healthy Addict pretty much everywhere on the internet except for Twitch, where I'm Fake Gamer Girl. So if you want to catch me, I stream 4 days a week. I do Monday, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and then Saturday, Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So come hang out with me and talk about food and how awesome it is to eat it.
So you're on Twitter, or are you on Instagram, or anything like that, or just
Healthy Addict everywhere. Snapchat.
everywhere?
Or Instagram, YouTube, though I haven't done anything with my YouTube in a long time.
For shame.
Shame. And Big Gamer Girl on Twitch. So yeah, come hunt me down, hang out.
Well, yeah, if you guys want to give me any more other what-if scenarios, if you want to clamor to have Ashley back, because, I am a man of the people, you can come to the YouTube page where you can like and subscribe to my channel. Just search for The What If Podcast. Look for the picture of a cartoon bald black dude with a beard, and it's a pink writing and a blue background. I'm on SoundCloud. You go to soundcloud.com/thewhatifcast. You can email me, send me your comments, your questions, your concerns, your what-if scenarios. Send them to thewhatifcast@gmail.com. If an email is too formal for you, you can always tweet me, 160 characters or less, at @the_whatifcast. You can come to Instagram. I think I have one picture on there, but you can like the picture, follow me on Instagram. Or on Instagram, I'm What If Podcast. Or you can come to Facebook and just search for What If Podcast, like the page, leave comments, and do whatever you lovely people would like to do. Once again, Ashley, I'd like to thank you so much for being on my show. It means so much to me. It really does.
And yeah, thanks for having me on. And my birds thank you, too, with all their chirping in the background. Hopefully,
I love your birds. Your birds are awesome. And please, have fun and be safe at DragonCon, all right?
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Okay. This is Ugo and Ashley with the What If Podcast, and we will see you guys next time. Say bye, Ashley.
Bye.